Dr. Fizzlebop, what comes to mind when you think of a garden? I envision my favorite vegetables, fruits, and herbs, like juicy red tomatoes, fresh cilantro, or even crisp green broccoli. I also picture my mom's butterfly garden full of coneflowers, lavender, and lantanas. Have you ever wondered what the Garden of Eden was like? I imagine God's creativity in full bloom, from fruit trees to fragrant flowers to lush ferns. I imagine lying on a thick branch of a cake pop tree, reading a book. Well, of course, there weren't books in the Garden of Eden, but still, I can imagine it. Each plant in the garden was especially designed, and each had a purpose, which is also true of the plants in today's world. That leads us to today's experiment. We're going to observe how plants grow and how God made each one unique from the very start. Today at Fizzlebop Labs, I am assisted by Waverly! Let's get started. First, the Fizzlebop supply list. We'll need a permanent marker, 3 16-ounce or 480 milliliter mason jars, 3 paper towels, a half cup or 120 milliliters of water, and 3 types of seed: peas, green beans, and sunflower. And keep this fizz tip in mind.
We may use any seed you want.
Wow! Well, pause the video and go gather your supplies. Okay, now that we've gathered our supplies, let's get to the experiment. First, we need to mark each jar with the type of seed we will be planting in it. Here's a fizz tip.
We can write directly on the glass jars with a permanent marker and easily wash it off when we're done.
Neato! Let's do that! Green beans! All right, let's keep going. Next, let's dampen the paper towels. We'll fold them in half and push each one into the jar. Here's another fizz tip.
Be careful not to soak the paper towels.
All right, let's do it. Our next part is to carefully push the seeds down into paper towels along the wall of the jar so the seeds are secure. But let's make sure the seeds are visible through the glass. After all, we need to see them to observe them. Fizztastic! Now, we'll place the jars somewhere warm, like a windowsill. Sunlight is important, but we need to avoid too much direct sunlight. Then, we're going to keep the paper towels damp by putting a little water on them every day during the experiment. And over the next week, we'll observe the jars and collect our data. And now, we practice patience. I hope you'll snap a picture of your seeds' growing progress and post it online so we can see the results of your marvelous experiment and see God's hand at work. Tag us at Fizzlebop Labs and use #Fizzlebop. Here we are now on day 6 of our experiment. And it's time to collect our data. You can download a seed observation chart at fizzlebop.com under Fizz Extras. First, what do you observe about each seed? Which seed sprouted first? And which seed has the longest sprout or the most growth? Waverly, what do you think of our experiment so far?
I think it's really cool so far, and I also hope that they grow so big, all of them grow so big that we can even eat them.
That would be fizztastic! Wonderful! Hey, we'll see you again in just a few days. And here we are again on day 12. Let's observe. What do you observe about each seed now?
I observe that these ones, this one looks like it's like growing above, kind of, and that they're all like sprouting super big out of their little seeds. And then the peas look like they're like sprouting like big trees, itty bitty ones.
Okay.
And I observe in this one, that looks like a hand is growing out of it, because it looks like it's 5 fingers, and that it's like pinching, trying to get itself out.
What's interesting is each plant is very unique and different, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have another question for you. Which seed has the longest sprout or most growth?
I would say this one is pretty close, but this one's got a lot, and then this one doesn't have the longest. But if I would put all of these lined up, I would say it'd be about maybe like this long or long, that long, and then these ones maybe a little longer.
So you think it's the green beans? I think it might be the peas, actually.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, I see that.
That's pretty amazing.
That itty bitty piece.
Fizztastic.
These two.
Fizztastic. Well, let me tell you this. Now, we can also do something else with these seeds. Here is a fun fizz extra. You can now transplant, which means to move your seedlings to a pot with dirt and continue to let them grow. Do we have a pot of dirt with us?
Right here.
You then may eventually be able to harvest, which means take from, the fruits or vegetables of your labor.
Dr. Fizzlebop, what's happening?
Well, after about a week of watering and sunlight, our seedlings are now sprouting and growing. Germination is the development of a plant from a seed that has been dormant, which is like sleeping. Seedlings require the right conditions to successfully grow from a seed. 2 key ingredients are water and oxygen. Many seeds germinate when the temperature is slightly above normal. Yet other seeds, now this is cool, other seeds need warmer temperatures or even cooler temperatures or even temperature fluctuations, which means changes. While light is often an important trigger for germination, some seeds instead need darkness to germinate. Isn't that fizztastic? That's it! Enjoy your garden, and I hope you'll share it with me by tagging @Fizzlebop Labs and using #Fizzlebop, especially if you try growing other kinds of seeds. Thanks for joining us here at Fizzlebop Labs. I'm Dr. Fizzlebop, this is Waverly, and I hope you had as fizztastic time as we have. Join us here each week for a new experiment. And don't forget to subscribe.